to turn the connections to other places off is hidden in the current version of the app. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. What I was going to do today was just a very quick broadcast here, testing something that HAPS certainly previously did very well and hopefully still does very well, which is handling going from where I am now on a Wi-Fi connection and walking off that and having the phone pick up the cellular data connection, mobile data connection, and from there continue the broadcast without it collapsing, which is something Periscope, which I used to use previously, never managed. HAPS did really remarkably effectively. I thought it briefly dips as you walk off the signal and the thing gets pixelated and voice gets robotic, but then it comes back to life quite effectively, or it did. So I'm going to see if that still works on the current app. I'll turn the camera around so looking at the world out there. And we will head out of the Bluebell Centre here at Perryvale Wood. And we'll head briefly into the wood itself. I'll just quickly turn the power off on at the gate there and head out to the reserve. Hello. Quickly wander up the paddock here and then go into the wood. You can see some of the autumn colours are starting to show now. So I'm just going basically testing how this copes with going off the mobile signal, to going off Wi-Fi data, so a Wi-Fi connection onto the mobile data, and whether it keeps the broadcast going. So at some point this may break up in a weird way, but it's one of the things HAPS did really well. So we've got one of the ponds here, and you can see I'm doing a bit of seeing what's using our pond. So I've got a trail camera sitting on the pond today. Anything that drops in there will hopefully trigger the infrared sensors, and I'll know what's making use of our pond here. We're just going to walk briefly into the woods. Autumn is properly in effect now. Things getting nice oranges and reds and pretty colours of that sort. So we'll quickly wander in to make sure I'm well off the Wi-Fi signal, which I'm pretty sure I am now anyway, and it seems to have coped very well without having interrupted the broadcast. So that functionality of HAPS, which was one of the really nice things about this platform, actually, was its ability to handle moving between different networks and keeping a broadcast going. That seems to be still functioning, if anything, even more effectively in the current version of the app. So that's a positive. I don't find this portrait mode of broadcasting particularly desirable for these sort of broadcasts out in the world. I think you want the breadth of the view over here, but the current iteration of HAPS can only cope with portrait broadcasting. I'll stick with it for now. If it's a permanent feature, I will probably need to find some other platform to use that can cope with transmitting images in the way I would like them to be shown. But, you know, HAPS guys have been really good, really hard working on producing this app, so I'm sticking with it for now. You may just have to put up with a few portraity broadcasts for a little while. But anyway, here we are in the wood. Here's one of our bird boxes. and those boxes obviously are for breeding birds. We make care to take all the records of what was bred in them each year. One of our volunteers is trained to do this and is trained to do lots of other bird surveys as well. So that gives us nice useful data about what's known in this reserve. You see the trail through the woods here. We've had our team of our volunteers in today doing some woodland maintenance, and they've been bringing the materials back, the arisings as the term is, which can be used, some of it's going to be sold to another organisation, and it provides useful materials for building fences and the like. So stuff like this, you can see here, hazel stakes and hazel wands for weaving fences out of, produced by this traditional coppicing method. So let's wander very briefly around a little loop of the wood. So this is mainly a test broadcast, but always try to show something vaguely attractive even on a test broadcast. The wood pigeon flying up. One of the things that I'm told the new HAPS app is doing much better than the old one is the quality and resolution of the images it's transmitting. I can't tell because what my phone is showing me is my phone's internal camera image. So even if when the broadcast is not good, it looks fine to me out at this end. But if that has improved, it does mean that when things like that happen, when birds or something fly up from in front of us, there's more chance people will actually see them on the broadcast. So I'll review this at some point and see how that showed up. Anyway, we're going to loop around here and go back to where we started. I think at least some of the teething troubles that the new version of the HAPS app and product have had have been eased. Seems quicker to get a live broadcast up and broadcasting here with the new version, which is a positive, particularly for things when I'm doing stuff out in the field. If I want to I need fire, and I wanted to show something going on, and by the time I'd gone through all the dialogues HAP puts in your way on the old version, stuff had gone. This one seems a bit slicker. It's still like a one shot, just go live now, don't faff about location, don't faff about text, just go button. But it seems much quicker, it seems much easier and slicker interface, so that's a positive. We'll wander back through the woods now. So we're just doing a really little loop through a little corner of the reserve as part of this test. Then we'll see how things are going. Here's one doing that. Having a look. The old dead oak trees that we've left standing here. I've seen all of this stuff and heard my talking about the importance of standing deadwood on previous broadcasts I've done, so I'll not repeat it all today. Here, we're heading back along where we started now, which I will use as a convenient place. Stop. For what I was testing today, that seemed to work quite effectively, so that's good to know. It's helpful when I'm doing this sort of broadcast where perhaps I'll be starting in a building and talking about some of the stuff that we're going to look for, then going out onto site to look for it, to know that it'll handle that transition between Wi-Fi and cellular data pretty effectively, or at least it seems to. I haven't actually watched this back to see if it has. And there we are, back to the Bluebell Centre, our education centre, classroom, training facility. And I will end the broadcast there.